You ain't gonna believe this, but you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life.
Hi, Awesome Joe here. Just wanted to thank you all, first of all, for having to watch my Rocky franchise movie review part 1. And now I'm going to go ahead and get started here with having to do the Rocky franchise movie reviews part 2. And this one's going to be containing the other 4 Rocky films, including the 2 Creed films of Rocky 5, Rocky Balboa, Creed 1, and Creed 2. So later on today, I haven't watched Creed 2 yet, but later on today I'm gonna go to the movie theaters and, you know, take a glimpse at it, see what it's all about. I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about it, so hopefully I'll be fully satisfied with that film. But we'll find out at the ending of this video. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get started here with the first film that I want to review with you guys today. As soon as I'm done watching it, Rocky 5. Hi, Awesome Joe here. Just wanted to let you guys know that I went ahead and finished watching Rocky 5. And a lot of people are not very overly fond of Rocky 5. People really hate this movie. And for me, I'm alright with it. I really didn't have a complete problem with it at all. I enjoy it very much. It's very watchable. It's very entertaining. The movie takes place immediately right after Rocky 4, and which put me in a very curious position here because this movie was released back in 1990, and it's 5 years after the release of Rocky 4 back in '85. And then, since this takes place immediately after, it got me curious. As soon as they came back from Russia, they got off the plane, and then there's Rocky's son, which is played by Sage Stallone, and he looks completely different. He looks a lot older compared to the boy that was in the 4th movie, which of course I know that he was recasted just so that because this movie the story has a much more significant importance to his character within this movie. I just find it very, very curious and interesting as to how they were capable of allowing that to be agreed upon for the movie. So, but other than that, I would have to say that Rocky 5 is just such an amazing movie. I love it. It's such a great film. You know, a lot of people really hate it, and for me, it's not my favorite Rocky movie, but I like it. It's very watchable. I enjoyed it. You know, we get Burt Young and Talia Shire returning back into this, and I gotta say, Talia Shire is phenomenal because if you remember her from the very first Rocky film, she was very shy, she was very quiet, she very much kept to herself, she didn't know how to defend herself. But yet in this movie, you can tell how much she has grown, she has become stronger, she has become very confident within herself to speak her mind, to to defend herself, and which, I mean, of course, she's Rocky's wife. She learned to become a fighter herself, not physically, but emotionally and on social terms. So so I have to give her credit for that. So after having to arrive back from Russia, he's already been given already several tasks into having to fight different fights. And Rocky is not in the position of doing that anymore, for he has become retired, because after the ending fight for with Drago in the fourth film, that Rocky got brain damaged, and it really puts him in a spot of not having to fight anymore. So he's not the doctors don't pass him food to continue fighting, and plus the fact how things could get worse when they find out that all their money is gone. That now they're poor, now they don't have any, they're not rich anymore. Rocky is gone back to ground zero, going back to where they were before from the first film, and experiencing the life that they remembered, that who they were before. And Rocky really doesn't like putting himself nor his family in that position. So it puts him in a very difficult spot here. And I love the fact that Burgess Meredith comes back into this. I thought that he, in real life already passed before this film. But no, since this movie was released back in 90, he died in 97, so 7 years after. And I love the fact that he makes a cameo in this, being in a scene from the past, giving him this shrine from Rocky Marciano. That's a cufflink that's given around his neck. And I thought that was pretty cool. So the next component within this movie is called Tommy Gunn, which is played by Tommy Morrison. And since Rocky is incapable of fighting anymore, he decides to give Tommy Gunn an opportunity to become the next Rocky. And even though that they're along with that process, Tommy Gunn is very much tempted into more things, because he doesn't have the same heart as Rocky does, and he's tempted into money and fame. And so since Tommy Gunn is not being looked upon as the next Rocky, in order for him to gain that position, he has to go and fight Rocky and defeat him, so that way he can own that ownership of saying that yes, he is the rightful winner, champion of the boxing league. So, and that's really, and then Rocky, he's suffering from brain damage. I mean, come on, he went against Drago in the last film, and so it's very hard on him, and people just don't understand. People were just only interested in him because of the money. So, and I look at that as as a lot of selfishness upon people that don't really care for a star such as Rocky. So, but I like the film, I really do, and and Rocky, he puts a lot of attention onto Tommy rather than having to put more attention on his son, and his son becomes very much of an adolescent teenager and goes on his own route, and so like in several films, Rocky's been losing each and every single one of his close family and friends, and this one he almost lost his son, and he was not going to let that happen. So he chose his son over Tommy, which I think was a very good choice. So Rocky V, I give it an 88%. It's a great film. I'm sorry, not 88%. I was thinking of another movie. 78%. I'm sorry, 78%. I give Rocky V. What do you guys think? Leave a comment in the section. Give me your percentage. Give me your opinions. Let me know the terrible, the incredible about this film. Otherwise, let's go ahead and stop this review, because that's my review for Rocky V. Let's go ahead and jump on to the next film that took place 16 years later in Rocky Balboa. Alright, you guys, Awesome Joe here. Just wanted to let you guys know that I went ahead and finished watching Rocky Balboa. This movie was first released back in 2006, and Sylvester Stallone not only stars in it, but also writes and directs the film. And this is the movie that happens to be more of an apology regarded towards Rocky 5 for all the ones who didn't enjoy that film. Because for me, I did enjoy the film. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a great, entertaining film. But I would also have to agree with the fact that that Rocky 5 is a Rocky movie that involves fighting in the ring, boxing. So, and they didn't have any of that regarded towards Rocky and his life persona. So they wanted to go ahead and give you more of a little bit of a touch of Rocky once more for the final time in the ring, fighting one last time against the modern day, back in 2006, who is the world champion, Mason the Line Dixon. And so there's no emotional attention against the two. It's just that the two happen to have some very serious personal situations going on within themselves, within the sport, that draws them both together and go against one another in this final matchup at the ending of the film. And we got Burt Young that comes back into this, and Burt Young is a little bit of a supporter towards Rocky, but of course he's always his normal self. As we all know, his character within the original Rocky films is pretty much a jackass, and so Rocky, he's now in 2006. He was going through a lot because in 1995 his wife passed away from cancer, and so he's been going through a very, very tough time trying to get over it. I mean, who doesn't have an easy time trying to get over their significant other? And things have changed for him. He's no longer that rich fighter that we all know. He no longer carries the title. They took down his statue that was where it was usually placed in front of the museum up the stairs. And he now owns a restaurant that he called after his wife, called Adrian's. And he runs into while he's going down memory lane here, trying to do a little bit of a remembrance of his wife passing, he runs into another character that had a very minor part within the first Rocky film, Little Marie, who's all grown up now, and they meet up together, and they develop this bond, this relationship, not like a romantic type, but more of like a very close relationship sort of thing, friendship with one another. And Rocky, he admires having, he's such a great guy in this movie. He does anything he can to help the people. He's just a cool guy, and I guess I kind of relate to him because I'm kind of the same way too. So thanks, Rocky, for making me feel like a really good man here. But all in all, I love the movie, enjoyed it, great time at the movies. I don't even think I've ever watched a Rocky film in theaters. I haven't even watched Rocky Balboa in theaters at all, and I find that to be a little bit disappointing because it would be an excellent experience to go and watch a Rocky film on the silver screen. I know definitely for a fact I will be going out to go and watch Creed 2 in theaters, which is in theaters right now, so really excited to go and watch that. It's just as soon as I'm done finishing up with this review here. But other than that, I love the film. Rocky Balboa is such an excellent film. I give it a 92%. It's one of my personal favorites because I can actually relate to the character a lot within this film compared to all the other Rocky films. But this is kind of much the final chapter to Rocky and taking his final attempt in the boxing ring, and not to gain any titleships to the belt. It's just for him to, let out the beast that's within him. Anything that's holding him back, that's keeping him, very down and depressed about the morning of his wife passing. So, like I said, I give Rocky Balboa a really good 92%. What do you guys think? Leave a comment in the section in the bottom here, you guys. Let's have an awesome conversation regarding towards these movies. If you guys are a big fan of Rocky and all these movies, as much as I am, come on, let's go ahead and have an awesome conversation regarding towards these movies. Other than that, thank you guys so much for taking in the time to watching my review for Rocky Balboa. Now let's jump on to the movie that takes place 14 years after this film in 2015, Creed. Alright, you guys, Awesome Joe here. Wanted to go ahead and let you guys know I went ahead and finished watching Creed. And I love Creed so much. It's such a great, awesome movie. And I'm very much looking forward to going and watching the sequel, Creed 2, which is now in theaters right now. And I really do love this movie. It's so amazing. It's so phenomenal. It's great. It's directed by Ryan Coogler, who brings us back into the world of Rocky. And not only is it just a Rocky film, but it's also a Creed film that introduces us to this new character, Adonis Johnson, who is the son to Apollo Creed, from who we all know from the original Rocky series. And so he comes into the picture, and he is discovered by Apollo's wife, who brings him in and raises him as her own son. And once he grows up, he is his father's son. He has the definition of a fighter within him. It's in his blood. And so he really has, to him, he feels like he has no other choice but to fight. That's his passion. That's his life. That is what defines him as him. But there is one issue about him, is that he feels that in order for him to become the fighter that he intends to be, he doesn't want the name Creed involved with him developing his notice. So he tries to ignore that and tries to build up on his own, and without his father's name included. And so he was raised in California, and so he quits his job and moves to Philly. Tries to find Rocky Balboa, because from what he is told, Rocky and his dad used to have this great connection. They were like best friends, and having to know that Rocky is pretty much the reason as to why his father died. But Adonis really feels like he wants Rocky to help train him to become the really great fighter that Rocky used to be and what his dad used to be. And he really wants to be that type of fighter that is with the heart that those two had together. And he does have that heart. And this movie is very much like, if you, because I know that a lot of people really, really hated Rocky 5. And I feel like both Rocky Balboa and Creed are two definitions of the correction of Rocky 5. Rocky Balboa is very much the story of this man who needs to have one last fight in the ring because he's very old and he has a lot inside him that he needs to let out. So I thought that was a great way to finalize the character in that perspective. And then now we have the passing of the torch, which is giving the character Rocky the mantle over to a newer and into this generation's type of character, which brings us Adonis Creed. And I think that Michael B. Jordan is just brilliant playing this character. You could actually see the resemblance between the two, and see that even though they're not biologically related, you could tell that they did a fabulous job into making it look like that. And I just thought it was just brilliant. So amazing. And we got Tessa Thompson coming into this, and she plays Bianca, and she's very much like the Adrian, the new Adrian of this and all. And I love the relationship that Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson have together within filming of making this film. They have a great connection. I think that they get along just fine. They look like a very beautiful couple. I think that these two couples could really work out within these films. And I know that Burt Young's character, Paulie, passed away, so he's buried right next to Adrian in the movie. And, you just see Rocky, he's still doing the same thing, he's just living his life through and through. So not only does this involve just Creed's life, but it also still involves Rocky's life, because not only is he a fighter by heart, and he's done fighting in the ring, he also still has one more fight to do, which is he does get sick. He does develop a cancer within him, and he refuses to get he refuses to get help for it because that's exactly what his wife went through, and he feels like there really is no need to live anymore because his wife's passed. Everybody that he knew and everything that he grew to love is already gone, and he doesn't talk to his son anymore. So it's like there's really no reason for him to live anymore. So, but this relationship between Creed and Rocky. It builds up into this father-son relationship, and I really do love on how these two interact together. It's such a great connection between the two. Rocky, he's very, very sarcastic in this movie. He's very funny. There's a lot of times in here where, a lot of old dad jokes, like, we get it, you're old, but he's still fully capable and having to take care of himself. But once he develops that cancer, that's where Adonis comes in, and he's very much like his son now. He's there taking care of him, and they very much just take care of each other here. But yet the relationship still tries to develop itself into becoming much more than just a father-son relationship. So it just becomes something much more better. You could really feel the heart. You can really feel the love within this movie. I really do admire this very much, and it makes me very, very excited to having to go watch Creed 2 in theaters. So, but other than that, my ratings for this is I know I rated this movie a little while back ago, and I gave it an 86%. But for me, I'm gonna love it enough to give it what Rotten Tomatoes gave it, which is a 95%. So, I admire the film. I love it a lot. I can never get enough of watching this film. Brilliant film, excellent. Very much to the T. So, what do you guys think? Leave a comment in the section and let me know what you guys think of the movie Creed. Otherwise, if you guys have gone out and seen Creed 2, let me know what you guys thought of the movie also. So, but other than that, let's go ahead and stop this review. That's my review for Creed, and I'm gonna go and head off to the theaters here and go watch Creed 2. Oh my God. I mean, I just got out of watching Creed 2, and it was just not what I expected. It was a lot more. I couldn't believe what I was watching, what I finished watching when I got into my car, and I just immediately had to do the review because it's still fresh in the mind. I'm still thinking about it. It's just so amazing. I don't know how this movie could have been more better than any other Rocky film. I mean, don't get me wrong. My favorite so far has been Rocky 2. And Creed 2 is very much around the same level as that. And I just couldn't believe this movie. It was just so epic, so amazing. It's a brilliant masterpiece. We got Michael B. Jordan coming back playing Adonis Creed, and he's now going against the man whose father killed his dad, Apollo Creed, back in Rocky 4, Victor Drago. And we got Dolph Lundgren coming back here as Drago, his dad, where he went against Rocky in the fourth Rocky film, and having to see Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren in the same room again, playing these two epic, memorable characters was just so amazing. The way that they exchange words with each other is a fight itself. Because even though that they're older now, they're not very capable of having to go, hand-to-hand combat here. The words itself very much was just speaking fist to the face. And I don't know, I thought it was just so epic. And having to see Sylvester Stallone once again coming back as the epic character Rocky is also so amazing. I really do love his brilliant performances throughout each and every single one of these films. And from what I heard, that Sylvester Stallone said that this was going to be his final performance as the character Rocky, and that this character was going to close this final chapter and move forward with his life. And I thought that was just, even though I don't really very much like the idea, but I also respect and understand the decision that he has made. And it's going to be very complicated if there is to become a Creed 3, which I really do believe that there will be, because this movie is so amazing, and I know for a fact that because of those results, we're going to have a very awesome, very awesome news of another Creed film. So I really do love that Sylvester Stallone is going through all these difficult situations, having to, witness that history may repeat itself, where we get a fight between a Creed and a Drago going against each other once again, and he loves Michael B. Jordan's character Creed as his own son, but he's also going through some times to where he feels that he needs to go and talk to his son, because he hasn't talked to his son in a long time, and he wants to spend time with him and make him a part of his life once again. And I honestly respect that. I really do think that his son needs to be more a part of his life, because I feel like they've grown very much apart ever since, I think, Rocky Balboa. And I think that it would be a great, excellent reunion of these two characters coming back together once again in the film, which I think there is a scene where these two actually do interact with each other, and it just brought me to tears. If a movie brings me to tears, I'm gonna love it, because I love when movies touch my heart. I'm a very emotional man, and if there is a performance to where they successfully performed it and really very much caught my attention, caught my heart, yes, you are definitely in my winner circle. That's just so amazing. And what I also want to bring up is that usually within these Rocky / Creed movies, we do get to see, the hero side of the story, but we never do get to see the villain side of the story, as to wondering, getting more of a deep feeling, getting to find out, who they are and why are they doing what they're doing. And this one really very much explains that very well, to where, as much as I wanted to root for Creed in this movie, I'm actually also rooting for Drago on this. I mean, it's just, I love both sides, honestly. I mean, these guys, they're just as hardcore as they are, and oh my god, man, having to hear those swings, those punches, man, it makes you feel like you're actually feeling it, and it's hardcore. I mean, I actually feel my jaw feeling a little bit numb here because of all that visualizing the fights. So, but also getting back on task here. After the fourth film, Drago went through a very traumatic experience, to where, since he lost the fight against Rocky, that his country has now turned against him, and his wife left him, and his son. So, and now what he wants to do is use his son to bring him back on the spot here, to show that yes, him and his son are fully capable of having to win the title match. So I thought that was very, very interesting and very well entertaining. So great time with the film, excellent time. I had a lot of fun with it, and I mean, I just love this movie very much. I think it's going to be popping up on my top 10 list of this year, and definitely for sure. But all in all, I give Creed 2 an awesome 100%. Awesome 100%. It's such an excellent film. So amazing. So epic. And also that Tessa Thompson, she comes back into this as Creed's love interest. And I really do admire the fact that it's kind of a little bit of Rocky 2, to where they get engaged and that they have a child together, and they go through several other complications, having to realize that their child may have the same side effects as the mother does, with the hearing complication. So, in which cases, Creed goes through a lot of hell in this movie. I mean, he went through a lot in the first Creed movie, but this one it brings everything up to a different level, and that's what that gets you so intrigued and interested in this film, because it makes you enjoy and feel for this character. So, like I said, 100% Creed 2. What do you guys think? You have any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns? Leave a comment in the section on the bottom, and we can have an awesome conversation regarding towards this film or any of the Rocky films in general. So, I'm Awesome Joe. Thank you very much for taking in the time of your day to watching my videos. You guys are such a huge inspiration for me for doing my personal hobby. I love to talk about movies, but more importantly, I love to talk about them with you. And as always, stay awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.